Hello, welcome to the Magic with Mary podcast. I'm your host, Mary. Here we teach you how to gain confidence, be your most authentic self, and step into your power. If you feel stuck, you're in the right place because I'm going to help you release what's holding you back. You're so freaking powerful, and all you have to do is unpeel the layers that are keeping you trapped from being who you truly were meant to be. So if you're ready for the magic to begin, let's dig in. In this episode, we are going to be talking about knowing what your soul is ready to release. This is for the person who is ready to take the next level, the person who has big, big dreams, but has continued to let things hold them back. And maybe you are sick and tired of the same old cycle, the same old games, and not doing what you want to do. Okay, so that's what this episode is about. I'm going to help you understand what it is that you are ready to release. So the first thing I want you to understand is that if you don't know what your soul is ready to release, bring in your inner child, bring in your higher self, and ask them, like, what are you ready to release? You can do this in a couple different ways. Maybe you do this in a journaling session where you would maybe write a letter to your higher self, asking, like, what is it that I'm ready to release? What are you ready to release? Or bringing up your inner child, right? Maybe there's an 8-year-old version of you that is stuck in a cycle deep within you, and it's ready to release something, and so you can ask it. I know this sounds like super abstract, but we're getting more into the spiritual side of things. Another way that you can do this is through meditation. You can set an intention before you meditate. Higher self, please tell me what you are ready to release, or inner child, please tell me what you're ready to release. You can even ask your ego these questions. Ego, what are you ready to release? I'm listening and I'm here. Please help me understand you. Another way to know what you need to release is by simply asking yourself, what keeps fucking showing up in your life? What keeps manifesting over and over and over again? Like, really look around and ask yourself, what kind of people are you surrounded by? Do you keep having these relationships pop up where you feel like you can trust them, and then all of a sudden they let you down? If that keeps manifesting, ask yourself, what is it about these relationships that keeps popping up? Is it because I don't know how to set boundaries? Is it because I don't think I'm good enough? Because I certainly am good enough, but somehow I keep putting myself in these situations where the friends that come into my life don't treat me the way I deserve to be treated. So obviously I need to start setting boundaries. I need to start believing that I'm good enough. Okay. It could be anything, really. Just look into your life and notice those patterns. Okay. These are your soul contracts, the things that we came to this life with, right? Generational patterns. Maybe it has to do with the way we eat. Maybe we're in this feast famine pattern where famine feast pattern, and we will go a long time without eating very much. We kind of starve ourselves for a while, and then we binge eat, right? And maybe you learned this from someone in your past, from a family member. And so that is a cycle that's hard to break because you've learned that since a very, very young age. But it is your responsibility to break these patterns. And so look in your life and kind of decide what it is that's showing up. A few examples of things that come up often are just those feelings of not enoughness. I see this time and time again where we don't think we're enough. And so it manifests into our physical realities. We get these jobs that make us feel like we're not enough, or we get ourselves into a diet that makes us feel like we're not enough, or we follow people on Instagram that make us feel like we're not enough. And so this is a huge pattern in the majority of people's lives. So really look into this because it could be something that presents itself into your life as well. Another thing that I see, and this is kind of vice versa, where you are freaking afraid of success. The majority of people who tell me that they're afraid to fail really have an underlying fear that they're afraid of success. They're afraid of the commitment. They're afraid of the work that they might have to do. And they're afraid that they might have to give up things. And in our reality, this is true. But sometimes you don't have to give up things. If you ask the universe, like, is there a way that this can happen in a circumstance in which I don't have to give these things up? The universe is going to present those things to you. And I'm really talking to myself right now in so many ways. But it's funny because I see this with so many of my clients. I see it with so many people in the Magic with Mary community that I can see on a whole nother level when they tell me that they're afraid of failure, that in all reality, they're just simply afraid of success because they're amazing and they have so much potential. If you're listening to this, I already know you have so much potential, so don't even try to tell me you don't. Another thing here is that the universe is always going to continuously show you things that you need to learn. It will keep putting you in situations that you need to learn something until you finally learn it, right? And if you tell the universe, like, I'm ready to start setting boundaries, guess what it's going to do? It's going to put you in positions in which you need to set your boundaries. And that's where the majority of people give up and don't press forward, right? You tell the universe you want something. The universe says, all right, show me. And then you walk away and you're like, this sucks. Life sucks, blah, blah, blah. Okay. That happens so often. And this is where you step up your game and you keep recognizing what is popping up. What does the universe keep trying to tell you to do? Okay. Look and listen because it's going to present itself. Another thing that you need to ask yourself when you're ready to release big things is, what is no longer serving me? This is a big one, a really, really big one. What in your life is literally no longer serving you? And for me, this was so hard because I had a relationship with a very close family member that I've known since forever. And I had to cut ties with that relationship because that relationship was no longer serving me. And that was hard. That was so hard. And that doesn't mean that I'm not in this person's life. And that doesn't mean that they're not in mine, because this person is in my life. And I maintain a good relationship with them. I just don't have that strong, deep, vulnerable connection as I used to. And that was a decision I had to make for my own mental health, for my sanity. There's going to be things like that in your life that you might have to cut ties with, whether you want to or not, whether it seems so hard or not. But sooner or later, if you continue to let things drag you down, let relationships make you feel like you're not enough, then you're going to continue to manifest those things. And like I mentioned before, the universe is going to keep bringing more of that into your life until you learn the lesson you need to learn. So cut the ties with the things that are no longer serving you. And honestly, there's no easy way to say this other than you just have to fucking do it. You will hear me say that over and over and over again, because sometimes the hard things in life you just have to do. There's no way around it. And you have to be strong and brave and courageous. And this happens on a whole nother level, right? Maybe you don't feel like you are capable of doing these things right now. But that's okay, because right now you can simply be working on that identity shift. Maybe you feel like you're weak, incompetent, whatever not positive things that you have running around in your belief system, that's okay. Because right now, instead of doing these big, massive things that you don't want to do, you can kind of start shifting your identity, believing that you are strong, that you are brave. And you can start with little things. Maybe you just tell somebody no, right? Maybe you're working on boundaries and one day you say no to somebody. And even though it's one little simple thing, it's one step towards believing that you are strong, you are capable, right? With that said, sooner or later, you still are going to have to do that thing that you need to if you want to make a shift in your life. The last thing I really want to talk about is, what limits are you placing on yourself? What things are you putting into your life that are very unnecessary? And what I mean by this is, maybe it's your language. Maybe you keep saying that things are expensive, and then it keeps reinforcing that mindset of scarcity. Maybe you keep putting yourself in situations in which you feel stuck, right? I mean, I can talk from personal experience right here. I know for a fact that sooner or later, I'm going to have to do something about my current day job, right? I keep putting that limit on myself by staying in a safe zone. The job that I have pays me really well, really good, and has good benefits. But I'm placing that limit on myself by staying here because it's not what I truly want. And so sooner or later, I'm just going to have to fucking leave. And so just know, like, you're not alone here. Whatever limits that you keep placing on yourself, like, you are not alone, okay? I'm right here with you. I'm working on my own personal journey to you. And give yourself some credit because you are doing amazing. So amazing. But you and I, and everyone listening right now, we're ready to take the next step. We're ready for whatever the universe has called us to do in our lives. We're ready to be the person we were freaking meant to be. So that's what this episode is about. I want you to take some time to ask your soul, what is it that I need to release? Okay, that is your challenge for this week. Go out there, figure it out, and then let's start moving and shifting things in our life. Okay, let's make it better. Let's release that anxiety, release that stress, release whatever it is. Okay, I love you so much. Thank you for tuning in. As always, if you feel inspired to, please leave a review on this podcast. That would mean so much to me. And then, of course, that will help this podcast rise up to the top of the charts and we can spread more love, light, and happiness. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day. Mwah.